What's going on, Black family? It's your boy Big Vic, aka My Black Universe. We are in the building. So we have this sister right here who's on TikTok who said, Why don't we have a project 2025 for Black folk? Let's tap in. Let's chop it up.
What if we had a Black Project 2025? Hear me out. I know it sounds crazy, but this is my vision. What if all of us were to get into a group? Okay, I'm talking doctors, lawyers, engineers. There's so many of us that are so talented, and we were to work together with our own Black agenda for 2025.
I think that's a great idea. What do you guys think? Right? Here's the thing. We've done that. We didn't call it a project 2025 or anything like that. We had Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had Rosewood. We had Silicon Village. We've had several thriving black communities that were all destroyed, whether it was eminent domain, whether it was just lying, some white woman was, quote, allegedly raped, whether it was, or even just white, I might not say so. They built highways through our neighborhoods, they built train stations through our neighborhoods. I was speaking to a sister at the Doc bookshop here in Fort Worth, and she's talking about how she's going to move to Raleigh, and I said, "Hey, have you been through Durham and seen the gentrification?" Now, I was through there when in the hood they was building it looked like a freeway through the hood. This was 2021, 2020, 2021, 2024 going to 2025. I'm pretty sure they completed that and they've displaced the black people there. So, and yeah, that's the hood, but we know it's deprivation, resource deprivation creates to our quote hoods because we've had thriving black communities, even if they weren't a pinnacle black community like a Greenwood or a Rosewood. Um, we had communities where people used to walk to the plant. You walk to the plant and you made good money. You went to school and you got a trade through school and you went straight to work. They pulled all that out of our neighborhoods and put drugs in them. So
I'm talking opening up Black owned grocery stores in certain cities, Black owned banks, so that way we can actually.
we have black owned banks. We also have more black owned grocery stores. Problem typically where we can get a black owned bank or grocery store. Case in point, let me see if I can pull this up. I want to hold. Let me add a window. Let me pull this up real quick. Maps. Dot Google. I'm gonna go to downtown Fort Worth here. Cause years ago, I thought about buying a bank when my credit was better. I was a little bit younger, so I had a little bit more energy. Where is it? This is huge. I don't want to be on 30. I'm trying to find it. It's not Hip Hill. Is it Summit? I think this might be it. Yeah, let me put the little man down here and I'll pull it up. I want to make sure it's the right area, family. I want to give you the right information. You're hearing them clickety clicks. One more. One more. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all this area real quick, and we gonna. What the heck? No, no, no. How do I go back? Let me just pull it up and show you guys in real time. Let's pull up another window. Okay, we got that one. Let's go to this one. This is boom. Google Maps. Put this in front. All right, so let's go back. Let's not Rio Grande. I don't want to be there. Right about here. It should be right about here. All right, so you see Summit and West Presidio Street. Let's put the little person down here. It should be right about that area. Okay, I'm still too far. Oh, went too far down. Because it's on this side. Here it is. Should be right here. There's a what's the Sendero title? I want to show you. I want to be accurate, family. I don't want to lie to you. It was an old bank that they had for sale. They had a sign. Here it is. Okay. Next to Sendero title. So over here, right here, this drive-through, kind of like a parking lot right now. A few years back, they had a for sale sign on that, and it was a janky for sale sign. Now, I just talked on last video how Dick Gregory say, you capture certain things, and I remember on Facebook when I asked, hey fam, if I bought a bank, would you support? And there was a few people that responded, and I was really thinking about trying to get into it. I was going to call them, see what all they needed, and you keep trying to call the number, and it goes nowhere. Sure enough, to this date, I don't think there's anything there, but I haven't paid attention. I'll probably go by there tomorrow and see what it is and what it ain't on that bank and let you guys know. But yeah, so often, we want to do things like that, get into these banks and get into these buildings and do good business, and we get the runaround. Like that group of black investors in California that was going to buy that mall. They had the money. They had more money, and they were offering it, and they sold it to somebody else who had less money, just to box us out of wealth. And so things like that happen to us a little too often, family. So I see what the sister's saying, but I don't think she's FBA. Looking at her facial structure, her phenotype, I don't think she's FBA. And nothing against the sister, but I don't think she's FBA. Let's continue.
Get our home loans and do what we need to do, our own doctor's offices, our own law practices.
We have black doctors right now with their own offices, and they are constantly having to move around because rent goes up, rules change, and it's typically when they see us start being very successful. There's a sister here in the DFW area that was my father's doctor, that was my doctor. Right now, I don't have the health insurance coverage just to keep her, but once I do get it back, I'm going back to her. Dope doctor, wonderful doctor. I'm not gonna put her name out there. Well, you know what? I'm put it out there because she's out there. Dr. Macklin, Rowena Macklin, very good doctor, and she knows what she's doing. Very passionate sister. She talks with you, and you feel comfortable knowing that she's not dismissive. Right? She gonna get on you if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. She gonna get on your bumper, but she's not dismissive. So that's super dope, and I love that about Dr. Macklin.
We really were to just congregate and push towards our goals and our outcomes, right? And so this is how I envision it.
We've done that before, sister, and the white supremacists, and I mean white supremacists, come through and destroy by hook or crook. They do it. So that's the issue. That's why we push for an anti-hate crime bill, anti-black hate crime bill. So we have a means of, hey, we have something on the books that says, hey, like if we got to get buck, we got federal documentation that says, hey, yeah, look, you came over here trying to destroy, and we stopped you by any means necessary.
We can all get into this group. We can all donate what we have to donate on a monthly basis. And then basically we can have a CEO, we can have a CMO, and we can have a CFO.
Now I don't know about that part because some Negroes have ulterior motives. Like, so let's go back to Marcus Garvey when he came over here in the Pan African movement. Was popping. Shout out to the FBA fam because we got it popping. Jamaica, sit down, respectfully, of course. There were so many ops that were black that worked against Marcus Garvey. There were so many ops that were black that worked against Fred Hampton and what's our brother? I know his name. The light skinned brother. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Let's Google it. That's easier to do than just sit there with a blank. Founders of the Black Panther. Huey Newton. Huey Newton. See, I need to take my my intellectual power. That's what's wrong with me. I need to get some more action. I'm running low. In fact, if you guys want some, I'm have a link below where you can get 10% off. And yeah, we've had groups where there were people in place that were put in specific positions to get things done, but they were working for the government to undermine what was going on. So when I hear these, I understand what the sister's saying, but I get a little leery because now you have people who are in leadership positions, and they can be attacked. You know, especially you live in a very nice neighborhood away from black folk, all the way away from black folk. You ain't got no backup. Who you gonna call? We gotta come to your side of town. We're gonna stand out like a Thor. We're gonna stand out like a sore thumb. So, B1 family, yeah, I see what she's saying, but I don't think the sister's very well versed in Black American culture or our history.
That's in charge of leading the groups with the initiatives, right? We could have bi-weekly, monthly calls in regards to where we stand with our goals. So, okay, guys, we want a black-owned grocery
I think she's Nigerian. I'm looking at her phenotype. I think she's Nigerian.
store in Los Angeles, built and developed, August 2025. This is where we stand.
This can work after we get an anti-black hate crime bill. Because what will happen and what they will do and what they will try like they did with our brother Nipsey Hussle. Shout out to Black Sam. They'll try to eminent domain or build a rail. I think there's a train station, a railway being built through that area. For my black family that's in Los Angeles, let me know. Slauson and Ken Crenshaw. Yeah, there's we go through so much. We have to have certain things in place federally. So when we start building these things, we have the federal backing. So when we physically have to defend these properties and what we're doing, we can do it in good faith and not have to worry about people getting railroaded and locked up willy-nilly, which is part of the reason why they don't want us to have an anti-black hate crime bill.
This is how much we have funded. This is what's needed. This is where we are in the process. And we just go from there. And so we can just kind of congregate. And then on top of that, in this group, we could also just have a massive directory of Black-owned businesses.
I think there's a few of those right now. I try to be a directory of sorts, and other people try to be a directory of sorts for Black-owned businesses. An issue I see, mind you, I'm not trying to downplay what your sister's trying to do. I like the idea. But history has borne out that every time we have built something constructive and amazing, the white supremacists come to be destructive and obliterate what we're doing. So we have to have certain things in place now. We can do these things. I think it's a great idea. I'm not against it. We have to have certain protections in place first. Every time we've done it, we didn't have certain protections in place. The brothers in Greenwood, they fought back and they bombed the city. The federal government allowed American citizens to be bombed on American soil. And then the judge recently, was it 2 years ago, threw out the case for reparations for the survivors, the last 3 surviving members of the race riot that literally was alive when it happened, threw the case out with prejudice. This is what we go through. So that is a good idea. And she looks fairly young, like she's probably mid-20s. If we don't have proper protections in place, it's just going to happen again. We're going to put in all their work, build it all up, just to have Negroes who are stepping fetches on one side, tethers on the other side, and the government on the third side, and we'll be fighting on three fronts to try to build and maintain something. So let's get the proper protections first, and then we'll flourish. Plus reparations.
So that means that everyone that joins this group swears off of purchasing from these large corporations. I'm talking Black-owned coffee brands, clothing, everything you guys can think of, toiletries.
There's not a lot of Black-owned clothing brands. The ones I know of for sure, God is Dope, World and Vision, and Dianu. Are the only ones I know of that are fully Black-owned. Black Leaf said they're Black-owned, but I haven't seen anybody. In athleisure, my bad. The athleisure wear, actively Black, they're Black-owned. So there's 4 that are Black-owned. What's that? Screenshot is not Black-owned. It's owned by a white French woman. You can look her up. You can Google that. Black Leaf say they're Black-owned, but I haven't seen the owner. I haven't physically seen anybody from their company. Oh, and Nubia Apparel, they're Black-owned. Shout out to their brother. He's Black-owned. The ones that do the faded caps you see me wearing from time to time. So that's 5. So, that's doable. That's doable.
Like down to everything, like body washes, everything we
have companies that do that now. We could be supporting now. Let's not wait until we have everything we want in place. We can support these brands now because these brands hire Black folk. A lot of Black folk have jobs now because there's a Black business owner that's doing well enough to be able to hire them. Garden's Garden, toiletries, women products. We see our brother Riza Islam. He just came out with products for our sisters. And real quick, I want to give you guys a caveat. Me and a brother named Marcus Brooks from Graphene Physiques. For those of you who want to, get in good shape. If you're in the Oklahoma City area, Metroplex, check out Graphene Physiques. Check out Marcus Brooks. We were talking about Honeypot and the changes that happen. He's a former assistant manager for Walmart. And he was talking about how with Walmart, there's such a demand for your products to have so much in stock, and they have to be able to sell at a certain price. You have to change if you want to continue to do business with them. So that's why sometimes it's not so good to see us in places like Walmart. Walmart's about volume. Like they get so much, they sell at a certain price. Walmart's about savings. So to see a brother Riza Islam come through with the product he has that's natural, that'll be good for our sisters, is super dope. And that's just a tangent, if you would.
Use and consume on a daily basis. It is no longer purchased from these large corporations. It is purchased from one another.
We can do that now. Let's not wait. Let's do that now. While Foundation of Black Americans are fighting for reparations, yes, not FBA, you don't qualify. However, if you're a B1 and you're on code, we'll do business with you. But you got to have a solid product. You got to be B1. We don't want to do business. We don't want to do bad business with people who are going to get our money, take it to build themselves up, and then spit in our faces. We're not doing it no more.
And I think that we can create so much wealth amongst ourselves.
We can do that now. We can do that now. Why wait? Because it'll never get done. If you're waiting for something major like that to happen, it'll never get done. You got to do incremental things. That's why we're pushing for certain protections to be in place. So when it's time to do the big things, we have a God-given right and a federal legal right, a federal legal right to defend whatever we built.
Just by strictly swearing off of supporting large corporations and only supporting one another, and also congregating to create our own agenda. Now, I know that there have been people who have tried to do this before in the past, and I know that we struggle as a community to trust one another.
We struggle because tethers come in and folk don't tell us that tethers amongst us. We've said it before. It's not that you have the tether class. Y'all that know that there's a tether class don't say, hey, so-and-so, hey man, when he was over here, we was trying to do this. This man undermined us, gave the white folk, gave the Asian folks our plans, helped them build for 20 cents in a camel sandwich. That's all you have to do is let us know, hey, bro, watch out for such and such. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eye on him. Keep your eye on her. We got to find this out in the back channels or after the fact. Like, we've already been undermined and say, what the hell happened? We were airtight. And they are op in the midst of what we got going on. That's it. Start doing that. You'll start seeing more trust. You start seeing us move more efficiently and getting things done.
I don't really care about all that right now. I just personally feel like if we are able to put our pride aside and get it done, I feel like it could be one of the most impactful things done in Black history. Like maybe there is a silver lining in Kamala not being able to.
And you knew that was coming, right? Y'all knew that was coming. So I'm pretty sure she's, like I said, looking at the phenotype, I think she's Nigerian. She might not be, but I'm pretty sure she's Nigerian. And I assumed that there would be some Democratic shillery somewhere. However, a friend of mine wanted me to address this, and I think this, like I said, I think it's good in concept, but if certain protections not in place, sweetheart, considering you're not Black American, it'll all be for naught. It'll all get destroyed so fast. They'll find some step and fetch a Negro or tether to undermine everything.
Get into office, because as a community we just become that much more tight knit. Do you get where I'm coming from? I don't know, I know it sounds crazy, but I just feel like this is something that we should do, and I feel like I feel very strongly about the ability for us to transform our community and the perception of, you know, African American individuals if we were to really find
African American individuals. What Professor Black should say? He said, did you get that?
finally come together.
Yeah, family. So I get it. I understand, what she's saying. I can restate it a million times over. We have to have things set in order this time. We have to have proper protection. If we don't, we're just gonna watch it all crash and burn again. And this time the stakes will be higher. Money's thinner. It doesn't spend the same way. Everything we do now is literally life and death, right? Which is why in the last video I stated that we need to, break away sometimes and have a little bit of fun. It is so stressful knowing that if the certain decisions aren't properly planned out and met, even if it doesn't work all the way through, if you don't do certain things, if you don't take chances, if you don't make certain moves, you can literally watch your family go from struggling to living in squalor, to living in abject poverty, because that's just the way things are going. The price of living is just going to keep going up. It's not going to get cheaper. So being on code is honestly the best bet. Putting pride aside to be on code, putting ego aside to be on code, putting jealousy aside to be on code is the best bet, the best thing you can do right now for Black empowerment and just for the well-being of your children and your children's children going forward. That's all I have to say. Be one, family.